Hey y'all, welcome back to week 1 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge. It's hosted by Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead. It has been busy around here. I can't wait to share with you what I've done this week on the first week of the challenge. So many things I've got coming in from the garden: cucumbers, tomatoes, just a little bit of everything. So I'm going to share with you what I canned and what I froze and what I pickled this week. So I hope you enjoy it. This first one is an Amish pickle recipe. You can back off the sugar if you don't like it as sweet. I did a little bit, but you just got 7 cups of unpeeled cucumber sliced, 1 cup of onions, 1 cup of bell peppers, 1 tablespoon salt, 1 cup of white vinegar, 2 cups of sugar, and you can even substitute stevia or something if you don't want a whole lot of sugar, maybe an artificial sugar, 1 teaspoon of celery seed and 1 teaspoon of mustard seed. You're just going to put all the vegetables in your jar. You're going to mix up your brine. You're going to combine all that together and boil it. And then you're going to let it cool for just a little bit because you don't want to pour that hot boiling brine over your cucumbers. And sometimes I will leave out the celery seed just because I don't like it boiled, because sometimes it can taste a little burnt. So I'm going to combine everything in my pot, bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to remove it from the heat and cool it for 30 minutes to an hour and put that over the cucumbers. Put it in the fridge and let it sit. You can let it sit in the fridge for up to 2 months, but I don't think it'll last that long. Alright, I'm going to start on stewed tomatoes and vegetables. I've got 16 cups of chopped core peeled tomatoes, 1 cup of chopped celery, a half a cup of chopped onion, 1/4 of a cup of a chopped green bell pepper, tablespoon of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of canning salt. And I'm going to bring that to a boil over medium heat. I'm going to try and break up those tomatoes. And you want to cook that gently for about 10 minutes until the vegetables are softened. So now we're ready to put it in the jars. You're going to go 15 minutes for pints and 20 minutes for quarts. And I am doing this in the pressure canner. I'm using the pressure canning recipe because it's going to take a lot less time to do it. And I did 1 batch on with the pints, and then I did 1 batch with the quarts, and they came out really good. I cannot wait to open these up in the wintertime and have some soups or stews. They are going to be so good. You can have your own convenience foods, and you just cannot beat having it come out of your own garden. So I'm going to let that sit for 12 hours, and then we will wash the jars and put them up in our canning pantry. So that's another thing marked off my list. So now I'm going to make a corn and cherry tomato salsa. It says cherry tomatoes. You don't have to use cherry tomatoes, but if you use the cherry tomatoes, you don't have to peel them, but I'm going to have to peel these since I'm using the San Marzano. So it calls for 5 pounds of cherry tomatoes, so I am using 5 pounds of the San Marzano tomatoes. I'm just going to cut an X in the end of them and put them in boiling water for a few minutes, and then the peels will slip right off. So now I've got my 5 pounds of tomatoes, and I'm going to roughly chop those. I've got 2 cups of corn kernels. It says that you can use fresh and you can also use frozen, so I'm using the frozen since I already had it in my freezer. You're also going to add 1 cup of red onion finely chopped, 2 jalapeno peppers seeded and minced. You're going to put in a half a cup of bottled lime juice. And it says a teaspoon of chipotle chili powder, but I left that out. It's optional. And you're also going to add in 1/2 cup of chopped fresh cilantro. And it says it makes 6 pint jars. So I'm going to stir that around, and I'm going to cook that, reduce it, and simmer it for 5 to 10 minutes, stirring occasionally, and then we'll get it into the jars. So this looks good already. It smells amazing. I cannot wait to eat this. And I made mine in different size jars because if I need a little bit, I've got a little bit, and if I need a lot more salsa, then I have it on hand. And I also mashed up some bananas, and I put them in a cup, and then I put them on my sheet tray, and then I can just freeze them like this in my food saver, and I can have these bananas anytime I want, and they're already measured out. So it's a lot easier to do it that way. And I've got some peppers from the garden. I've got some chunks and I've got some slices. I like doing it that way. Freeze it on the food on the tray and then food save it. It just tastes a lot fresher. And now I've got some Anaheim peppers that are from my garden, and I'm just going to blister these under the broiler. And you're just going to keep turning them until all the sides are blistered, because that's going to help taking the skin off of it. You can also cut the seeds out and then do it that way. I think I'm going to do it that way next time. It's a lot less messy, and you don't have to clean the peppers as good as you do if you don't have those seeds in them. So I'm just going to take the skins off, and I will have them in my freezer for some chili or some tacos. And now I'm going to go ahead and make some beef stew with vegetables. You want to have 4 or 5 pounds of beef stew. You're going to brown those in batches. And I've got 12 cups of potatoes, 8 cups of carrots, 3 cups of celery, 3 cups of onion. I've got 4.5 teaspoons salt, 1 teaspoon dried thyme, which I left that out, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. You're going to bring that to a boil, and we're going to can it, leaving 1 inch of headspace. And these will process pints for 75 minutes and quarts for 90 minutes. So I'm going to fill my jar up 75% with the vegetables and beef, and then I will pour the broth over the top. Sometimes I like to use either a cup. Even a measuring cup will help and make it a lot easier to pour all that liquid in the jar. So now I'm just going to get all the air bubbles out and put my lid and ring on there and get it canned up. And now I've got some delicious beef stew to have on the shelf, especially when I only have a few minutes to get dinner on the table. I can just open this up and heat it up and make either some cornbread or heat up another vegetable, and we've got dinner on the table, and it's so much better than what I can buy in the store. So I want to thank Jessica for hosting this Every Bit Counts challenge. It makes me so much more productive, and I can get so much more done if I just do a little bit at a time. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will be back next week with some more things that I've either canned, frozen, dehydrated, fermented. There's just going to be a lot of stuff going on. I can't wait to share everything else with you this coming month. So hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all next week.